Hey guys, welcome to another edition of what we're now calling the Retro Buzz. And this is episode number 3, and we've got no, he's not from Home Improvement. This is not Wilson. He's not hiding behind the fence. This is Glen, and I don't know what he's doing. But I
Just
think
enjoying my high quality camera.
we need to fix that. Unfortunately, I have a button to do that. So Glen, are you ready?
You're gonna zap me, aren't
I'm
you?
gonna zap you. You think we can do it?
Harold, what do you think? Am I getting zapped?
I think for sure.
All right.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
I'm pressing the button now. Go ahead, Glen.
Ah!
It Whoa!
Oh my goodness! You brought me to the 21st century. What am I gonna do? It's too clear. I can't look at this.
This is
That isn't retro. That's not
No.
retro, Glenn.
this
No,
this
look,
is
it's
this is high
it's
definition,
smooth.
Glen.
Oh, I don't know if my eyes can take this. I'm looking at myself. I don't know if I can take this.
Well, it's great to have you, Glen, as always. And then the man that you've been hearing behind the curtain. Usually I say don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, but today you want to pay attention to this guy, Mr. Harold Chizick from chizcom.com. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Awesome to be here with you guys.
Oh, this is great to have you on. I know Glen and myself, we've been kind of wanting to have you on and talk about this wave that's going on right now, right?
It's honestly got to take the wave. It's so much fun. I mean, love it. I love it. And you guys have been awesome to get to know, to talk to be interacting with, and it's just been awesome. So thank you for having me with you tonight.
Well,
Pleasure.
absolutely. So Glenn, one of the things that he did say to us before we went air is we could ask anything. So
He did say
Anything.
that.
anything.
He
So
did
we
say
want to
that.
put him in the hot seat and ask him this question. Is it true that PK hasn't slept in days? Is that the truth?
So when I got the lovely invitation to get here, and I told him, within minutes, he sent an email to the whole company, the whole AtGames team, and said, "Guys, we have to have a viewing party. Make sure the Taipei team knows. And by the way, get snacks and non-alcoholic beverages."
So
Well, we welcome everyone from AtGames for joining us today. And
yes,
it's great that they all jumped on board.
and
Even the team from Taipei.
wow,
Which, right now, what time is it?
About 2
It's
a.m.?
really early.
it's really early.
It's very early.
And they're saying in the YouTube chat, Glenn, finally you've come into this century with the good camera.
Yeah. And you know what? I gotta thank that camera was actually donated.
By one of our new sponsors.
Correct. So I want to thank them for this. They saw the video quality and they said, "Oh my God, what the heck?" So I want to thank them for bringing me into the 21st century. I'm still not sure if my eyes can take it, but it is a very clear, beautiful picture from this camera.
Yes. So if you guys are interested,
So
yep, go ahead, Harold.
no, I was just going to confirm that it's actually in Taipei. It's 6 a.m. So
Oh my
people are waking
goodness.
up early Saturday morning. Yeah.
Forget Saturday
Well,
morning
welcome.
cartoons. It's Saturday morning talk show.
Saturday
Retro
morning
Buzz,
talk
Saturday
show.
morning.
There you go. So we want to thank the folks over at PTZ Optics for sending it out. If you guys like the quality of Glen's camera, go check it out on their website. Very inexpensive, but I mean,
It is.
if you
Beautiful
watch,
quality. I mean, fantastic quality. And
yeah,
trust me, you can see from my past videos the difference. It's amazing
and
what it does.
we also have to give a shout out to P-Dub. I don't know if he's watching right now, but P-Dub, he messaged us after the show last week and he goes, "You guys were asking for a name." He's like, "Why don't you just mash the two names that you guys got together and call it the Retro Buzz?" So I was talking to Glen and Glen's like, "Hey, I like that." Yes. But we have a bigger problem. Now we got to pay the guy royalties.
Yes, we can only say it once per episode. So it's just
Yeah.
a title, and then we got to stop. Otherwise, we're going to go broke.
So just so you guys know, that's the title. That's what we're calling the show, the Retro Buzz. It's a combination of Glen's show plus my show, and I think it's great. I think it's going to be a fun collaboration. So Harold, why don't we get into this a little bit with you? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for folks maybe that if they're living under a rock and they have no idea who you are, tell us a little bit about what you do and what Chizcom does.
So Chiscom is a marketing agency, and we started. I mean, my background is I'm a toy guy. I had worked for since 1999, so almost 20 years. One of the largest toy companies, a company called Spin Master, which I think probably most people are familiar with Bakugan or Air Hogs. That's where I cut my teeth. In 2013, I started a marketing agent, and mainly in toys, but fortunately, a toy manufacturer stumbled upon a great gaming idea, and it brought me into the gaming world, and our company. So right now we're working, obviously partnering big time with AtGames and the launch of the Ultimate Legends cabinet, which I often refer to it as more of a console than cabinet, just because it's got so much to it. But we work with companies like Super Impulse, that again is on the retro arcade, historic arcade, more collectible, and then obviously oh, there you go, Glen's got
Yep.
it there. Got some pole position, and then of course we're also working with Sega on the launch of the Mario and Sonic heading to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and obviously on the Sega Genesis Mini, working on that as well. So we love what we do. We have an amazing team, and trying to get more and more involved in the gaming side of the fun play world of retro gaming. So it's been awesome, and we've been really fortunate that we've had some amazing experience based on the ability to work with Arcade One Up when it launched. We were with them for the first year and a half. We've been really engaged with the community. That has been completely awesome. And most importantly, I mean, right now with what's happening at AtGames, it's really exciting. I think there's been a really cool shift in how true gamers, and I put that in quotes because I think there's
Right.
a difference between, um, gamers and casual gamers. Um, but what's happening in the gamers community with what Arcade One Up is doing, sorry, with what AtGames is doing, that is redefining the accessibility and the ability to play not only retro games but current games that we're adding a special dynamic to.
Right, and I think that we've known each other now for a couple of years right now, pretty much prior to the launch of Arcade One Up all the way till now, and you're now with AtGames, and I'm saying since you've kind of been there, the what I'm looking for, AtGames looks like it's turning itself around, I guess if you will. I mean they've had product launches before, but this product launch I think was very big for them, for not only the price point of the device, but just as a company as a whole. I know originally we brought up the Sega Mini a little while ago. I know originally AtGames was going to be working with that, and then it looks like Sega had pulled that back. But you're saying once again you guys are re-involved with that. Could you go a little bit more into that?
So we're working with Sega on that, but I think what's really amazing is that AtGames has had a history that there's been a lot of criticism. Frankly, I'm not here to sugarcoat, but I think that what people don't appreciate is how much they care, right from the top down, right? Like you have PK, who is, I mean, my team can tell you 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., doesn't matter, that PK is listening at every opportunity to ensure that we are representing the brand, listening to the audience, improving product development, improving product experience. He is extremely, unbelievably passionate about making sure that the dialogue changes on what people are saying and hearing about AtGames. And he takes it very personally. I mean, at the end of the day, we work with a lot of owner operators at Chizcom. He is on the front lines every day, and he is listening to what the fans have to say. We know that not every product experience has been perfect, but what he is doing is leading an amazing team both in the US and in Taipei, where we do a lot of the product development, to make sure that when there's problems, when there's glitches, when there's issues, that those are being addressed and being addressed quickly. Sometimes too quickly, but to the perfection of making it happen. That is, where AtGames is at right now, is making sure that they are listening. I mean, we have a person internally at Chizcom that their sole job is to be on forums like Reddit, Discord, Facebook, to address the issues and to be listening on behalf of how we're going to improve the user experience. It's so refreshing that the commitment. I mean, I was on a Skype call, at 4 a.m. this morning with Taipei to talk about, how do we ensure that the firmware updates are happening in real time and going to a group of true advocates who can give us real-time feedback so that we can get into the market as quickly as possible to ensure that the user experience is 10 out of 10 or as close to it as we can get.
Well, I have to say that what you talk about there is very important, and that is, the customer experience. And I think in the past, me personally, I like the Atari flashbacks, but there has been some issues with the Sega flashbacks as far as audio goes. But now with this particular machine and the ability to update the firmware pretty much in real time, that they have been extremely good at making sure that any complaint is addressed. I know recently there was an issue with a program that caused some problems for a fellow YouTuber, but when that was brought to their attention, they patched it within, it was about a day. So it's excellent that you guys are in fact listening and monitoring that. So when you do see something, you're addressing it, because I think that shows a lot towards AtGames' commitment to the product and to the people who purchase that product.
100%. And I would say that 2019 is more of a soft launch that is directed at the hardcore gamers, that we're not going to sell. We don't even have in the marketplace hundreds of thousands of units. I would say that what we're doing is really appealing to the hardcore gamers and figuring out, listen, we know that that there's going to be glitches, and find out how to improve, and we rely on the community to help us improve. And I know that in the past there has not been as much listening and as much as openness to listening to the community. But I can tell you, after spending the last 6 months with PK, I know you guys know Bill very well.
Mm-hmm.
We have
we've learned not
Deborah,
to mess with him. That dude's got some arms the size of a tank, and he will strangle you. Just saying.
He is a real gamer. He is a real gamer. I'm gonna say I'm a casual gamer. He is a gamer. And then there's Deborah, who's out of the Taipei office. There is an unbelievable amount of resources that we know that we have a catch a tiger by the toe, that the Legends cabinet, what it offers to the consumer is beyond any gamer experience that has been offered before. And we know that there's going to be bumps in the road. There always is. But there's this commitment to make sure that we are focused on delivering the best on best. And we may not get there, right away, but the beauty of having a cabinet that is Wi-Fi enabled, that has this amazing infrastructure that we can send updates and really improve upon it on real time. That is no pun intended, but it's game changing. It really, really is.
I've said before, it's like the Tesla of the gaming community, because when you buy a Tesla, you may have some bugs or some features not available yet, but you wake up the next morning and there's a firmware update, and bam, now your car can back out of a parking lot, or it goes faster or better battery life. And that's what you guys have been doing. You've changed the menus, you improved that. You added a screensaver. You've added the ability to add your own games. You've added the ability to stream local. These are all things that was pretty much asked for by the community, and you guys listened, engaged, and I think relatively quickly, I mean, very quickly, put those features in place.
So I think that that's a really critical point, is that I want you guys and the entire audience that's listening to us tonight to know that there's this amazing commitment. And listen, Chizcom represents a lot of clients throughout a lot of categories, but I will tell you that we joke about it, and I know they're listening. So PK, I really got to tell you is that our team is like, listen, Harold, we're getting calls at 2 and 3 a.m. and we feel we're passionate about it to respond, but these guys are for real, and it's so amazing, the commitment of making sure not only we're listening, but that we're reacting in real time to improve the player experience. And the downside of that is sometimes you go too fast, right? Which we know from the recent update and the hiccup. But again, as soon as the hiccup was identified, and the team worked really, really hard to make sure that we had a solution so that computers weren't suffering crashes, that the machine was working, that the player experience was optimal. And I got to tell you, that is not coming from Chizcom. That is coming from PK, the Taipei team, Bill. I mean, Bill is listening 24/7, right? And not from a marketing perspective, right? Like, let's make no mistake about it. I am not. I wish I could say the truth is that I am a gamer, but I'm not. I'm not a hardcore gamer. I'm a great listener, but Bill is a gamer. So when he's amongst the gamers and listening to what is being said, he is making the teams aware so that we can make those changes and updates in real time. I mean, PK has given our team the ability to have a full-time resource that is on Discord and Reddit so that we are listening and feeding that information. It is so important, not just from a reputation standpoint, but from an experience standpoint and a listening standpoint and a true reality standpoint, that the guidance and care that every comment that is made, I don't care what social channel, it's being listened to. And I know, and PK knows, and the team knows that in the past, there's been experience challenges that there's no hiding from that. I mean, if you can't admit what your blemishes are,
Right.
how do you improve upon them?
Well, that's
But also, I think part of that was also it's the price point. I want to put some of that in perspective. I mean, most of the issues I think that people may bring up are like the flashbacks, and they were mostly inexpensive, quick purchases. Um, and again, your expectations have to be set to what they are. I will admit that the Atari flashbacks, I'm more of an Atari guy, and the Intellivision and ColecoVision one were pretty good, but the Sega ones were definitely I can't sugarcoat that one. The sound issues really hit hard with a lot of people, and that's what they remember. And then they do remember, well, why do I have to have 10 different versions of the Atari flashback? There were incremental changes. If you didn't have one and you went out that holiday season and saw one, it was an impulse purchase. That's what they were. This thing is a much larger. Actually, this one over there is a
That
larger
one.
purchase. Right. So with that type of purchase, the expectations are exponentially larger. The expectation of a $30 or $40 Atari flashback versus a $600 or arcade cabinet, the expectations are very different. And I think at this point, and you've been doing a good job, I think PK and his team is doing a very good job of staying engaged so people know that this machines and its expectations will be met. Or at least if not met right now, with an enhancement with a firmware update, it'll get there. Nothing is perfect. But I have to say, taking this one out of the box, it was a 15-minute assembly time. It didn't take long to put together at all. It went together very well. The controls, everything felt fine. And, in the early prototypes, we all know, at least some people know that my spinner was in the early prototypes, and I was like, oh, they're not going to go with mine. I was a little disappointed, but I have to be honest, they work really well, so I can't complain about them. They spin smooth. They are in the games. They work very well. So who am I to say anything bad about it? You didn't go with mine. You had your own, but they work well enough where you don't need mine, and I'm big enough to admit and say that. So I take my hat off to the team for not cheaping out and actually making sure that the controls, which for me is the soul of a machine, that's your interface. That's how you're playing the game. And if you have really bad controls, sloppy controls, it doesn't matter how nice the case is, it doesn't matter how nice the screen is, the play mechanics are going to be terrible. So I really
So
take my hat off to them for taking the time to make sure that those controls were proper for the machine, and they work well.
so I think you're hitting the nail on the head, Glenn, which is, I think there's two different things that we're talking about here. I think on one hand, there's mass market appeal and the realities of what you're going to get for $20 or $30 from a technology standpoint versus what you're getting from a gaming standpoint of a, $300 to $400 machine. I think that at the end of the day is that, when you have, listen, we all know that there's certain titles that appeal to everybody, right? Like, Galaga, Pac-Man, Burger Time, Donkey Kong. Those are sort of
And you
like
say you're not a
the
gamer? You knew all those. You knew
no,
well. You're a gamer. Come on.
no, but honestly, those are titles that relate to everybody, right? What the AtGames Legends cabinet provides is is a different experience than what you're going to get when you buy a blast product and not making any excuses here. I think those have an audience. Those have a audience that when they plug and play are like, this is awesome. But I think that the true hardcore gamers are looking for more, right? So I don't think that the disappointment is a quality issue, or I don't think that some of the criticisms in the past are unfair when it's a hardcore gamer who the experience that they're expecting is a true hardcore gamer experience. I think that there is worlds for both. I think there's the toy side, which frankly, I think there's a lot. I mean, we represent a lot of, when I think of Super Impulse and the micro arcade and the tiny arcade, which honestly, we've been working with them for 5 years. Believe me, we know those are toys. They are not meant to be like, we don't think the gaming community is going to say to us, guys, this is the experience that I had when I went to the pizza parlor in 1985 and played Galaga. No, this is a showpiece, right?
But I think
Versus,
but I was gonna say
sorry, go ahead.
no. What I was gonna say is I think that people miss the point here. Glenn, you mentioned that you're buying a $500, $600 piece of equipment here. Yes, that's true, but you're also paying the early adopter tax, right? The early adoption tax, just like you would go out and you bought the first iPhone or the first Android device, it comes with a price, and that early adoption price is not everything is worked out on it because that's why you've got guys like Glen on YouTube doing reviews of this stuff because we go out there and we test it and we try it and try to do these things. But to get a message from the CEO asking you how's it working, getting an email saying, have you had any problems? Are you doing, that to me, and I know Glenn, we've kind of spent a lot of time here the last couple of weeks on AtGames, but I mean when it comes down to it, they're the company that's listening compared to some of the other ones. Some of them they're listening, but they're not listening. Does that make sense?
I think it
Well,
does. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Harold. Please, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, Stephen, before the last 3 months, how many times had you spoken to PK?
Probably none at all, because I didn't have the cabinet.
Right. How many times
So-
have you heard from him this week?
Oh, geez. Per day?
Right. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is the listening and the reacting and the changing and the commitment. I think that is what is so exciting. And he is pushing everybody so hard to a level that is, at the level that he wants the brands to live by. And I can tell you, whether it's 3 a.m., 5 a.m., or 9 o'clock at night, our team is receiving emails, phone calls, text, conversations from the AtGames team, because there's this amazing passion and commitment, almost like it is startup, right? Right, like that it's almost a redo and a restart. That is how they are handling this whole thing, which to me has been amazing. Given that they have been out there in the market for so long, and I even see it every day in this amazing community. It's like, I remember when we started, it was it was very unforgiving because of the errors of the past. And then when the cabinet came out, it was like the dialogue seemed to shift. And not that everyone automatically said, we forgive you for everything. They're like, okay, now what do you have? What more can you tell us?
But
Because
Harold,
we
I think you're
Yep.
you're a pillar for that too, because I think guys like Glenn and myself, we looked at you when we saw you went with AtGames. We're like, the reputation that you had, we said, wait a minute, Harold's not going to get on a sinking ship. Harold obviously knows something that the rest of us don't know, that this thing's going to be killer. Let's hold our comments till we actually see it. Glenn, am I kind of speaking some truth here?
Well, again, I've known a lot of these people now, and I'm not going to lie. When Harold was there, I saw the community react in a very positive way. Because again, like you said, a lot of people had a lot of experiences with AtGames in the past, and it's stuck with them. And they were like, "I'm not going to engage it. I'm not going to bother with it." But then when they found out that Harold was there, a lot of them had to raise eyebrow and say, "Well, wait a second, Harold's there," and they kind of paused a little bit. They were still very cautious,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they were cautious pretty much up until Retro Ralph actually got his hand on one. He was probably the first one who actually really got one to use, because until that happened, it was still conjecture. I mean, there was a lot of information about the legends, about the programs that were on it, pretty much up until launch. So a lot of people were starting to again turn away from it, saying, "Listen, not enough information, not all of this, not all that." But then Retro Ralph had gotten his hands on one, brought it home, and fired it up, and it started to, again, between that and everything else, eyebrows got raised, and then more people got it, and they were concurring. It wasn't just one reviewer saying this machine was actually pretty good. You got to try it. More people did, and they're starting to agree. And again, it's that firmware update ability that I think is their ace in the hole, hugely, because there is anything wrong or them they want to add, they have to ship out another part. They don't need to, have you send the device back for something. They just push an update, and it's there. And so far, it's worked out very well for them.
So I mean, you guys are really too kind.
We are.
But the but the reality is, I have to tell you, is that as a business owner, and again, I don't own AtGames. I own a marketing agency that, reputation is everything. And I remember sitting in Las Vegas with PK and the team, and I wanted to be sure that if I was going to align our company and our team, I mean, we have people that, I mean, being Papa Bear, but like when I think of like Jonathan and John D and Cassandra, I mean, they've been working for me for years. I wasn't going to put their reputation at risk. And when I sat with PK and the team, and I'm like, you know what? These guys are serious. And it's like, we as a company want to be more in the gaming world. That's the reality. And it's like we weren't going to take the risk if we didn't believe that what they were saying and their commitment was true. And not to overemphasize or to sugarcoat, but I'm telling you, I can send you dialogues of emails and communications. There is this recognition that in the past, AtGames has not had a 5-star reputation, but they're committed to changing that dialogue, and they recognize that what we've delivered to the marketplace is something that says, hey, how real time, how honest can we be with the community? And when you think about things like, the blast and who that audience is versus the Legends audience, they are different, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm 46 years old and I am not a gamer, but I will tell you, Galaga, Pac-Man, Burger Time, Ron, those are all things that I would love to play. And those are the type of items in the past that have been criticized. But the user experience on the Legends cabinet has been amazing. And the ability to update the software, to listen to what the hardcore gamers are having to say to how to improve it, is something that has totally changed the dialogue. And while it may be costly to the company to make sure that we're doing updates as quickly as we can, to making sure that there's quality control, to making sure that the top influencers like the two of you and a couple of others that we're working with on a daily basis, it is so that we can be delivering the ultimate experience, because that's what's the difference. And I can tell you that comes from the top down, right? Like listen, if people are skeptical because I'm a marketing guy, that's perfectly true.
Well, marketing is still better than you're not a car dealer, so you're still okay. You're not at the car dealership level. Marketers are still okay, I think. You're not a telemarketer. So there's a difference there.
Hey, be careful. I work in
Glen.
marketing too there, Glenn. Watch your step there.
Don't zap me again. Don't zap me
I'm gonna
again.
press
Please.
the button.
But
So-
I have to say is that the AtGames team is listening to every comment, and we are. If we don't hear it first, the AtGames team is bringing it to our attention and saying, "How do we react to this?" They are. They know there's a tiger by the toe, meaning from a technology standpoint, a customer experience standpoint, that it is beyond anything that has really been in the marketplace before, and they are listening to every comment.
I want to put this out there because we see it. There's a lot of chats going on. Glenn, I'm sure you're trying to follow it, but
Yep.
I know there's a
Yep.
lot of people asking technical questions for the AtGames team, and as much as we appreciate that, and I'm sure they appreciate that, if you have something specific for Harold, can you put an @ sign at the Tech Buzz or at Glen, so that way we know and we can kind of weed through that. We understand that they're being very helpful in there. It just that's why we're not really looking at, we're not pulling up any comments. But if you have a comment or you want to say something that pertains to this that you want us to read on air, please do that, because otherwise, right, Glenn, they're just kind of getting lost in the shuffle, unfortunately.
They are a little bit, and AtGames has a very good tech support email address. We'll
Yes.
post that again in a minute. But they are very responsive, and they probably even give a better answer than we can, just because it's specific to their console. So if really any questions for us or Harold, definitely put like an @ symbol at the front so we can kind of weed through it.
Yeah, we don't want to hear from the community later on. Hey, you had Harold on, but you didn't answer any of my questions that I asked you to ask Harold or ask the team or whatnot.
No, please ask.
Yes.
Please ask.
So
I want.
well, Glenn, let's
Sure,
shift
go
a little
ahead.
bit of gears here for this.
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
shift gears and go into the recent discovery that we all found is that
Right.
that virtual pinball machine. Let's get Harold's take on where virtual pinball is going for the price point, and maybe because
is AtGames doing anything?
so I was gonna
I
say,
don't know.
can we
So-
and isn't there a giveaway gonna happen at some point during this broadcast too? I
Oh
heard
yes,
rumors about that.
there is going to be a
So-
giveaway. We have picked 5 people from the official AtGames fan page on Facebook, and before the end of the broadcast, we will announce
Wait.
5 winners.
Was
And
I one of those winners?
You have to wait to the end of the show to find out.
Man, you're
But
killing me.
but
Glenn.
I will say one thing. Most of the people, I can definitely tell you, were definitely picked at random because I can't pronounce half their last names. So they're definitely picked at random.
Oh, Harold's showing
So,
what one of the
yeah.
prizes are. Look at this.
I'm trying to actually.
Harold, you're a
Oh, there we
prize?
go.
Are you a prize or just that? What's the prize?
Can I tell you? Many people would say I'm not the prize, but these are prizes. It's the Star Flashback, and
They are hard to find.
honestly, first of all, congratulations, Glenn, on 1,000 hitting
Yes.
the 1,000 mark. So that's awesome, and we appreciate it. We appreciate the community and the fact that the community, the fan page. So while there is the official AtGames page, we do appreciate that the fan page, while there may be times where they're giving us thumbs up, there may be times where they're giving us thumbs sideways. Sorry, trying to get it. There we go. We every data point is a learning experience for us. So, for the first 1,000, Glenn, you chose 5. They're gonna get a blast, and
Awesome.
you have those. And when we hit, let's call it 10 or 20,000. I don't know what PK will allow me to do, but we're gonna give away a Legends cabinet. Make that part of what we're giving back to the team.
That's awesome.
That is
to
really
the
cool.
community. So thank you guys for being awesome.
Now, unfortunately,
whether-
we're not eligible. We can't. Sorry, buddy. We're not eligible for the contest. Just the way it goes.
But you know what? We have one, so we're thankful for that, right? So
Right.
we have one,
Right.
so we're okay with that.
So going back to the pinball, I'll say this
Yes.
is that whether it's AtGames or any of the competitors, everybody recognizes that there's a huge pinball community out there. We're fortunate that we have a bunch of pinball games on the Legends cabinet. And to me, that is I remember as a kid, my best friend, his name is Jerry. His father had a pinball machine, a real pinball. And to be honest with you, the beauty is of being able to give that experience. I mean, it's a great play pattern, and every manufacturer is probably out there trying to secure the top licenses. And I'm really excited. I mean, I can't share everything, but the AtGames team has some awesome stuff in the pinball category that will be announced, whether it's at CES or just after. There's been this amazing recognition that is the sort of next frontier. And
So
because
you do
of
think that the companies have the technology now where they can start making these at a decent price point? Because I said a few episodes ago, I didn't think they'd be able to make something in the price point that this new pinball machine is coming out at, like $399. So that work. I think now we're heading to the point now where the technology is getting to where virtual pinball for the masses is getting there. Is that what you're kind of hinting at?
it's not what I'm hinting at, it's what I'm saying. I think what's cool is the ability, the Wi-Fi connectability and ability to download additional features, updates, games, all those things that the Legend provides to gamers that will love everything from, Star Wars to Pac-Man to pinball. I mean, our cabinet is more of a console, right? That's where I think is the next frontier, is the fact that it's console and the ability to bring those experiences, Glenn, that you
Right.
so that you put out there so amazingly, is that that's what we bring to the market. And there's this unbelievable commitment, again, from the top down, whether it's PK, whether it's Deborah, whether it's Bill. Our goal is to shift the dialogue. And there's going to be some things that we add that are toyetic or gametic, or what I would say is fanatic, fanatic. But at the same time, for the hardcore gamer, we're committed to making sure that we're delivering an all-in-one experience, that the cabinet acts as a console and delivers that gaming experience.
I think Glenn, somebody had a question in here about a light
Sure,
gun.
go.
No, on Facebook, they wanted to know if there's going to be, or even Harold, if you want to answer that too, the ability to play light gun games on the Legends arcade cabinet.
It was built so that we would be able to be extremely versatile. Excuse me. So between the USB portals, the BYOG, the arcade net, everything was designed so that when you purchase the cabinet, that there's the ability to have this amazing gaming experience. And we know that not all gamers are created equal, that they all don't want the exact same experience. There's some that want, to your point earlier, the virtual pinball. But we really try and be non-prohibitive and look into what the fans truly want and deliver that amazing experience.
with that, I want to bring up, if I can, the
Yes.
elephant. I'm sure that's in the room. I'm sure it's on everyone's mind, and I want to bring up the issue really with the lawsuit that's been going on between, or at least the proposed lawsuit between Namco and AtGames. I know that's been brought up
Yes.
a couple times to me, and I know we have some new information, but I thought you maybe want to kind of talk about that a little bit.
So, I mean, we don't want to get into a press and PR initiative and cause, it's not about mudslinging, but the truth is that the Act Games team is very much about integrity, and we're fortunate that on the 19th that there was a attempt to deny. There was an injunction that was before the court to have Act Games prohibited from certain activity in games. And on the 19th, the United States District Court, Northern District of California, denied that motion that was brought before them. And, although I don't want to really sort of get into the legality of things, because, there's reality and there's legality, right? That's a pretty crazy thing, is that, legality, anyone could bring legality against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And Act Games was really shocked at some of the things that were brought forward against them. And I think you guys, United States District Court denied the injunction that was brought against us. And I think that it speaks for itself. I mean, this is an industry based on integrity, and I'm not calling into question anyone's integrity, but at the time we said no. Hold on, because not all the facts are known out there in the community and the fan pages and the gamers pages. But we were pretty, even though we didn't want to fight a legal battle in public, because that's not what Act Games is about. We did comment that we were very strongly believed that some of the allegations were false, and that when the full story was told, that we would be vindicated. And while it's a marathon, not a sprint, I think that the ruling on the 19th, and I'm just grabbing it, by Judge Vincent Cabrera, is a good indicator of where things could potentially go, and more so is a validation that Act Games, while sometimes I really feel like the company is the David and Goliath story. All of these sort of indicators are things that hopefully tell the community, and I know we get criticized a lot, and there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of things to say about the history of Act Games, but the reality is that, again, you have toy versus gamer, which from a marketing perspective and the way that it hits the market is somewhat different. But there is this amazing commitment to excellence. And the team at Act Games has been I feel so transparent to us, that I hope that as we roll, I'm not asking for anyone to say that we're something that we haven't proven ourselves to be. But as we continue to prove ourselves, and prove the product, to prove that we stand behind our word and our name and what we're delivering from a customer experience, that we will, as I've seen this amazing shift in the community, that from a reputation standpoint, people will say, you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, because, as they've refuted certain things, they've come to fruition. And that's all we can ask. Let us prove ourselves into what we feel is a new day for the company.
Well, I mean, that's a good victory to have, honestly, to come out of there because, I mean, Glenn, you remember, people basically threw everybody under the bus at AtGames because of that. And they said, even after the Legends cabinet was announced and this injunction came out and all these, legalities came out, everybody's like, that's it. AtGames is done. The cabinet's never going to launch. Nothing's going to happen. And,
Right.
they were proved wrong.
Well, at this stage of the game, I mean, it didn't look good. I mean, there was a lot of misinformation, or I said not complete information. I'm not going to say
There you go.
misinformation because
Yeah.
that's not true, but it was not complete information. And I'm still not sure if this actually means that the lawsuit's done. It does mean that the injunction that basically Namco was denied for whatever they were asking for in that particular case. But the problem is that we all don't know what's fully going on. And I do say that this is just one thing, at least in AtGames' pocket, to say, look, Namco came after us, and the judge, if you read it, the judge basically said, good luck. You have nothing. You have nothing to stand on whatsoever with this case, and he threw it out. So I don't know if that's for the entire encompassing case that's going on, or just something that they were trying to go after on the sideline. But again, if you look at the that particular letter that was signed by the district court, it basically said that Namco had nothing, no basis for it whatsoever. So throwing people under the bus, possibly. Again, it just shows that once again that people need to wait for the facts to all come out and not judge it in the public, which seems to happen a lot here in the States. It's you're tried and convicted in the public, not yet in the courts.
Correct.
So, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, it's a round one victory. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be a round two or round three. But I hope, if anything, it gives credibility to the fact that there's two sides to every story. There could be stuff yet to be determined. I just hope that the community out there and the gamers out there will give AtGames a little bit of credibility from the standpoint that it's not over to the fat lady sings, right? It's like this amazing experience that we're going through, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it from June when I started working with the team. There is this amazing passion, and the fact that the team is so committed to this community and this group, and that there are people out there, and I'm not going to mention any names, that no matter what are always going to be haters, whether it's to get views on YouTube or to cause controversy. But at the end of the day, I think there is a reality that is based in truth. And I can say that for myself, and not that I know, not that I should be the keepsaker or the voice of honesty and truth, but at the end of the day, we started working with the AtGames. We didn't have to work with AtGames. There was no obligation. We stood with them because we felt that there's an amazing product. We stood with them because we felt that not only the leadership but the team was passionate and excited about what we were embarking on. And I have to tell you, it has been so fun. It has been, when we think about the facts that it is console versus showpiece. When we think about the added dimensions and the ability to play, if I'm in Toronto, as I am, and Glen's in New York City, in New York State.
That's right. Not
we
everyone
can-
who lives in New York is from the city. We have some people on the outskirts. We have deer. I got foxes. Not everyone is a New Yorker. Although there was a great movie, Escape from New York, but I'm not actually from that part. I'm about 50, 60 miles away, so I can get there, but I'm not from there.
But you're in New York State. We can play
Yes,
each
I am.
other.
Yes.
I could sit here and play you.
Yes.
We do. I mean, there's excitement from an innovation and a first to market standpoint. There's an excitement about the ability to listen and adapt. There's an excitement about the fact that, listen, reality is, I mean, Walmart is sold out of their first orders. So I would say that 2019 has been a test. And right now we are grateful to the community and the people, not only the people that are watching this broadcast now, but to the early adopters for helping us get to the first rung of the ladder. But the reality is there's a long way to go, and we're listening at every turn point to make sure that we're improving the experience. Because at the end of the day, you can be a fan of peanut butter and you can be a fan of jelly, right? I'm not saying that any one brand is better than the other.
Well, I thought you were
I'm
going to go with the
just
left
saying,
Twix and the right Twix.
I love Twix. That the reality is that, how do we make the user experience better? And I think the answer is simple. It's listen.
Yep.
If we're listening and adapting and delivering the experience that the fans want, whether you're first to market or second to market, if you're first to market and you don't listen, you're dead.
Yep.
If you are first to market and you're listening every day and are trying to aspire to deliver what the fans want, that's at the end of the day what will win.
Well, and
two other just quick questions. I'm sorry, two quick questions if I can, and then I'll be quiet. I know you haven't talked.
oh no
you
no no
talked
no
a lot.
no. I'm glad you're talking.
One thing I wanted to ask, just because of the lawsuit, and you do have the Namco blast, so obviously there's still communication between the two companies. So are like licenses like you have now with the blast, like the Pac-Man, the Galaxy, those things like in jeopardy, or is that something that's completely separate from this lawsuit? I'm only asking this because that blast is very good. The one that comes with the Ultimate Legends is the actual arcade games, and they're great. They play very well on here. So is that like something that would be in jeopardy with this lawsuit, or that's got nothing to do with this? You have the license already, and that's squared away. That's the first question. The other follow-up question is what you mentioned a minute ago about Walmart being sold out. Obviously, you're selling right now at Walmart and at Sam's Club. Are you expanding outside of that for this? Other people could be carrying this, or this could be the only two places they'll be able to purchase them.
Well, so I'm going to answer your second question first. I think what's amazing is that in real time, proof is in the pudding. So our launch retailers have stepped up in a big way going forward. We feel that replenishment is coming soon. There's a commitment to the brand. We are going to continue to look for other channels to distribute, other retailers to distribute. So I think that that is a big win for what we're doing. I think that right now we're only exclusively at Sam's Club and Walmart. Walmart might be sold out, but there is availability at Sam's Club, and of course, the Sam's Club has special offers. And as they're hitting shelves, or let's call it racks, because of the Sam's Club format, our consumer can go there. But I think that to answer your first question, no one has a crystal ball. I think that in fairness, there's amazing titles that Namco brings to the experience that we're providing the consumer, and we're hopeful that that will continue. Obviously, there is legal, implications, and I'm not a lawyer. I've never played one on TV either. I have on this show, but I think that the reality is that if everybody sort of focuses on how we move forward, how we give the best gaming experience, that is, at the end of the day, it's about the consumer experience. And AtGames is committed to making sure that not only from a technology standpoint, but from a title standpoint, that we're able to deliver the best, right? I think, and that's very PR speak, because anyone who wouldn't say that is crazy. Because at the end of the day, it's the end user, and how we deliver that experience to them is what will win.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think
Thank you.
I think too, what you guys are doing and what the industry's doing right now. I'm just going to give you a little preview. This is what it's all about right here. He's sitting there. He's having a ball. He's playing and now he knows that I'm looking at him.
What? You watching me? What?
He's over there playing Star Wars on the. It looks like it's Star Wars, right? Yeah. On the Legends, and so, you saw the other arcades behind. That's where he goes to now, because it's just a more immersive experience for him. And again, he's still trying to get that Fortnite going on there, and I'm gonna tell him to talk. Tell him to talk to Doug over at Cool Toy, because apparently he's been messing around with that. So I'll tell him, hey, talk to Doug. But Harold, we want to kind of dive into some things here. You're welcome to stick around and hang with us here. We want to talk about Glen.
Yeah, of course.
We want to talk about Coppa for some of the people out there that you're a content creator. This is something you definitely want to pay attention to. And Glen brought this up. I had read some articles about this, Glen, because I'm still getting over my laryngitis. I got the flu last Saturday, and Glen's like, "Are you gonna be all right for the show?" And I'm like, "You're gonna have to carry it. I'll do my best." So, Glen, why don't you start talking about that? I'll pull up the information about it, because I think this is something. If you're a YouTuber out there, you're a content creator, you're putting stuff on YouTube, businesses as well. AtGames, you need to pay attention to this. This is very, very important.
It is. I mean, it's serious and it's extremely scary. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of my other fellow YouTubers, as well as listening to other YouTubers. And to be honest, this came out of left field for me. I mean, I've been doing this for about 4.5, 5 years now on YouTube. And I read, I said, okay, I understand that. You don't want to be marketing or gathering data on kids. I'm not YouTube. I'm just someone who creates stuff and puts it up on YouTube, but I'm not YouTube itself. But apparently, YouTube was still collecting data on people under the age of 13. And apparently that was a violation of this law that was put in place, stating that anyone under the age of 13's information is not to be gathered unless it was explicitly approved by their parent. And of course, that's not the case. So what's happening here in January is that any videos you have up on YouTube, you have to comply with this regulation and state if your video is for children. Now, Pixel Dan, I was watching his video the other day. I follow his stuff, and he made so many good points, and I agree with them. A lot of videos that we create, I mean, if you're watching this stream right now, or if you're, Arcade 1-Up, or AtGames, or Super Impulse, or New Wave, or Basic Fun, Atari, and television, it doesn't matter. If you're a gamer, unfortunately, gamers are not just for kids, at least not anymore. I'm 50, and there's people older than me who still play games. So when I make my videos, I'm not making it for kids, and specifically, I'm really making it for adults or young adults. But it doesn't mean that a young kid wouldn't put on my show and be bored, probably. But nevertheless, he may watch a video of mine, and in doing so, YouTube or the federal government may say, you know what? You didn't mark your content for kids. You're in violation. There's a $42,000 fine we're going to hit you with. And YouTube goes, too bad. That's up on you. There's no way for me to stop or block that. Other YouTubers can as well. Now, when you upload a video, you have an option. You can check it and say, this was made for kids in mind. Now, you could do that, but there's a huge amount of issues with that versus not tagging it. Now, let's say, and actually I did this when I first found out about this. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to mark all my stuff here safe for kids. I don't have really any cursing in here. I mean, I do have Negan in here, but you know, he's not too bad. I've seen Groucho, and you know, on Sesame Street, Oscar, I should say, on Sesame Street. He's just as bad as Negan as I do. But in any case, I don't play Negan. Negan comes to the show. My mistake. But in any case, I marked it all kids safe. Now, in doing so, come January, what that will mean is can't monetize the video. Not that I make a ton of money anyway, to be honest. I could buy a Big Mac, but you can't monetize your video. but you can't actually, when they have the dollar sale, I could buy it. But
there you go.
You can't even have comments. Your comments are turned off, so people can't even comment on the comments on your video. Exactly. So you can't comment on the video. Your video is no longer shown on the front page of YouTube or recommended. Again, I'm not a huge one in that, but a lot of my friends are that would be affected by that. So you say you can't really do that. And if you don't do that, there's no way to prevent a youngster from viewing your channel, even though my stuff is definitely not towards kids, but it doesn't mean that a kid wouldn't watch a Sega review or an AtGames review or an Arcade 1-Up review. I couldn't stop them for that. So this is a huge, huge problem. And YouTube gives no real information on what to reference or how you can protect yourself. They really don't care. They basically said, shut down you can shut down your channel and leave, or you can mark it all as kids. But even if you mark it as kids, you're still not safe from it. Right. The federal government may still come in and say, you know what? You're still in violation, $42,000 fine. Now, I am not by any way, shape, or form a rich person. I make a nice living for me and my son and my family. We get by okay. Hit by one of those fines would financially destroy me or pretty much anyone I know on YouTube. Not everyone here is making $200,000 a month at all. I'm lucky if I make $5 and after taxes, I pick home from that. But this is extremely serious because I actually really enjoy throwing up content on there. It's fun to me. It's just as much a hobby as playing these or these or anything else. I'm not going over my poor Super Impulse. Sorry about that, guy. So I enjoy it. And a very good friend of mine, Vectrex Roley, who had a channel called Vectrex Roley. He's actually in my 10 minutes of end credits I do in my videos. But I really enjoyed his content, and he made the decision. He pulled his channel. Now he's not even in the States. He's from out of the country, but he saw this as, you know what? I'm not even going to get involved with this, and he pulled down his channel. That's a huge, sad thing because he had such great content in there, but he has no way to protect himself. And I'm going to be honest. I've been talking to Cool Toy. I've been talking to Retro Ralph. I've been talking to Rerez. I've been talking to Irate Gamer. I've been talking to RGT85. Pretty much everyone. The Guru Meditation. Everyone I know. Half of them are very worried. Other half just like, I'm just going to go. My videos shouldn't be marked. But the fact is, there's no way to stop the government saying that's a video game thing. That's an Amiga. That's that's a handheld. That's for kids. You get nailed. So I don't really know what to do at this point. There's been lawyers who've been looking at this, and they don't even have answers. They say that it's so generic, and there's nothing from YouTube, nothing from Coppa for. Okay, I want to say Koopa, like Koopa from Mario Brothers.
Coppa.
Right? But I want to say Koopa because I'm thinking about those Koopas that just want to kill you.
Now there is some petitions out there, though, Glenn. There's some petitions out there to stop this.
Right, but we literally have like a month. We have like 30 days, and at that point, once it goes over to January, literally, you may see your favorite YouTuber vanish. You may see a lot of the content taken down a notch. or you may see them facing lawsuits. Now, again, this could be a complete scare tactic by a lot of people, and that's not uncommon. But we're not talking about a $200 fine or $50 fine. We're talking they want to charge $42,000. I mean, a company like Google, they got a $160 million fine. To them, that's a value meter.
Nothing.
That's nothing to them, right? Now, content creators like us, this is not easy. But a lot of people think you do video, at least my videos, because my machine's from 1982, it takes slow to encode. But
It looks
regardless,
like his camera. It works like his camera.
Thank you.
His old one. Yeah.
Thank you. Exactly.
This
So,
camera or his old camera?
His old
definitely
one.
the old camera.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's a lot of content creators that make really good content, but they're not huge. Cool Toy, Retro Ralph, they're like 10 or 12,000 subs. Even, Mad Little Pixel, he's only at 75,000 subs. Another guy I watched, his name is Doomcock, who started recently. Congratulations, Doomcock, at 100,000 subs. They're not going to survive a hit like that. And if there's no way for us to actually lock, they should have a switch. I'm telling YouTube, have a switch. No one under 13 is allowed to view. I mean, there's got to be some way to protect us.
Well,
I do not want to be hit by this. I also don't want to violate a federal mandate, but there's
right.
no way for me to block children from watching my show.
This is something.
But
wait, this is something that I've been doing in the broadcast industry, and I've been saying this to people when they create shows. This is why you don't depend on Google, and everybody's like, oh, well, Google's not going anywhere. Don't depend on Facebook and Facebook groups. Oh, Facebook's not going to go anywhere. Own your content. Harold, your team or you put out an article the other day, and I shared it, about if you don't have a website right now, you're doing yourself a disservice. All my content, I could pull my YouTube channel right now. You know what? All my content lives right here on the techbuzz.net. You can go there, you can subscribe to my podcast, you can watch my videos, and YouTube can't say a darn thing about it. Because like Glen, I can get 2 Big Macs. Sorry, Glen. I get a little bit more because
You can supersize.
well, because if you notice, I have Google Ads on the top of my website, so I get a little bit more than that. But in all seriousness, you need to have your own. And Glenn, you and I, we discussed this. You're
Right.
thinking going that route as
Right.
well.
Well, I am. The thing was, I was never in this for the money, not at all. I'm in this really for the community, to help out, to engage manufacturers and the community, to kind of join them together. I'm not in it to make money, but I'm sure not here to basically have my house taken away because I get
Right.
2 or 3 hits on this. I mean, that's a complete life destroying event.
Yep.
And I can't believe that YouTube basically washed their hands of all the content creators that people are viewing, more than television. It's a fact. People watch YouTube more than actual television, and we built that content for them, and they just turned it back.
So I think I will tell you is we are one of the largest advertisers for toys and games, not from the marketing perspective, but the paid media perspective. And I think that it's all about the contextualization of who you are targeting that will impact what how the legislation is applied. So, for example, this show tonight has not been targeted at all to kids, and the reality is, creators like you, Glenn, if you don't have the dialogue amongst the community, how are you going to grow your community? Because it's guys that are gamers, guys and gals that are gamers, people like me that get engaged in the community that will help grow your channels because our friends are going to be following what you do. Similarly, from an advertising standpoint, if there's contextual advertising, so I am not looking to reach boys and girls 11 to 13. I'm looking for fans of Pac-Man or Burger Time or gaming. That's the way to sort of protect yourself, to ensure that you're, marketing towards a genre versus marketing towards a demographic. And of course, listen, I totally hear what you're saying, and it is a little bit of the wild, wild west, and it's, you know, a little bit scary, but as somebody who is following this on a daily basis, I would say that as long as you are marketing about the category and are trying to attract an audience of people who are either retro gamers or gamers who are fans of technology, you're going to be in a different stratosphere versus those who are like marketing towards, I want kids that are, you know, 5 to 8 years old to tune into my channel. I don't think anything that we've discussed today or anything that I've seen on your show in the past is targeted to kids. And while, you know, it is a slippery slope from the standpoint that, you know, you're not the Goliath of media, and I say that respectfully. You could get picked on. I think the reality is that, you know, really, who are you trying to talk to? You're talking to gamers. So not putting those videos up, I don't think the revenue is going to dramatically change for you. But I will say, as a large purchaser of advertising, I mean, our company, frankly, you know, buys almost $200 million worth of media on television and on digital platforms. It is something that we are every day pivoting and adjusting to, because more data and more information is becoming available. And to the both of you, you know, you would get the friends and family discount, meaning meaning, you know, we're following it daily, and the advertising to kids,
But Harold, are they going to
and
classify games, even though we know adults game and everything, but are they going to classify games as being all kids? I mean, that I think that's the scary part, especially like look at
that
cool.
is the
Let's
scary
let's
part.
look at Cool Toy for example, right? He's an adult that
Yeah.
reviews toys. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not putting that down. What I'm saying is
No,
they're
he
going
had
to
a great
say
great Transformers ones he showed, a lot of great Transformer ones, and that's what kids are gonna buy, and people like us who grew up in the '80s are gonna buy as well. So that's a problem because
it's
there's
a
no
big
way
problem.
to prevent that. I mean, it's like
The
television. It's like
the crazy part is that until January 1st happens, um, it's going to be hard to know how they're going to apply it. Like at the end of the day, Cool Toy, and I've watched probably over the last year every video that has been published.
Yeah.
He's not talking to my 12-year-old son. He's talking to me. At least when I'm watching it, that's what I feel, is that he is talking to me. Um, and that's going to be the interpretation of the law and how it's applied. To your point, is there's no crystal ball, so it's hard to
there
know.
isn't. But the sad part is that even like anything else, just the accusation, they can still someone's going to do that. You have to get a lawyer, you have to go to court, or who knows what else. And just
Yep.
the mental anguish of getting an email from YouTube saying, "Guess what? We just deleted your channel. All your stuff's gone. You got 3 fines from the federal government. You know that's 100 and whatever $1,000, whatever it's going to be. You know, it doesn't matter whether you'll win or not. At that point in time, your life just hit
You're
a brick wall,
handcuffed.
Yeah.
You're handcuffed.
basically.
I totally
Right.
get what you're saying. I remember last year, because again, our company markets not only video games to a gamer community, but we do a lot of toys that are you know, specifically speaking to the unboxing in a kid's world. and a lot of the unboxers that we worked with, and are still working with, called me personally or sent me an email, and they're like, can you help us, or can you call the advertising people at YouTube and say, hey, this channel is not a bad channel, or not trying to hurt kids, or not advertising to kids. And while the people that were asking were legit about contextually sharing an experience, at the time YouTube was using bots, right? So the subjectivity was compromised to the standpoint that channels were getting shut down that were not, should not have been, in my opinion, based on my understanding of what the test on how they would measure. And the reality is that it won't be until January 1st that categories like gaming, which blur the lines, because at the end of the day, I would say that our conversation tonight has not been a kids conversation, but I will tell you that, I have a whole bunch of machines downstairs that later on tonight I can turn on with my 12-year-old and my 8-year-old. And then does that change it, right? Like, I totally agree with what you're saying. And I think the reality becomes twofold. I think one is how the material is presented, and really how it's communicated. And that would be number one. And number two is when you're tagging or writing your description on your videos, are they in a lingo that would cause a 10 to 12-year-old to subscribe and like and watch your video, the monetization process? Or would it be to those adults where it's contextually about gaming or about, game titles? The safe bet to me is to, and Glen, I've been watching your videos for a year and a half. That's maybe 2 years now. And for me, your videos are not kids targeted. I would
My son
caution
would
that.
agree with you there.
I was gonna say kid friendly, but
here's the part that, as a friend, that I would say to you is that at the end of the day, I don't want to see you get shut down or hurt, or your livelihood or your life get. And the reality is that if your son's in a video, right, they're going to come after you, and they're probably going to win. That's the reality. If you're in the video, that's okay.
Right, and
But
that's it. 'Cause my son does play parts in some of my videos.
Yeah.
Now he's
Yeah.
14. He's 14, but maybe young kids will watch because, or my dog, even Blue, he's in some episodes.
Right.
So the
Yep.
creative process of those videos, at least what I believe to be
well,
the creative process
WWF
of
will
those
go
videos.
after you on that one with the dog.
Exactly, or the
Just saying.
ESPCA or PETA or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just to the point where we really don't know where those lines are. I mean, he's my son. Does YouTube or the government have the right to say my 14-year-old son shouldn't be in the video, and if he is, that's now a kid-friendly show, and you're nailed? That's a problem that they should basically make it at this point, like television. I mean, the same thing. You have cable, and you have like pay cable. You have to have different levels for adult content or regular content or kids content. But even on television, a kid can stay up past, say, 10 o'clock, and they start hearing very adult words that we didn't hear when we were kids, but they're okay on television now. Do they get fined when a 12-year-old is sick and he's been watching TV till like 11 o'clock at night, and he's now seeing on channel 204, a movie or even an episode of Friends where they were testing a lot of words that I won't use right now, but I'm sure people who watch Friends know what words I'm talking about. But those are big channels. If they get a fine, okay, but they have big lawyers to say, you know what, take a hike. We don't have that. We do not have that. But we're the ones taking the brunt of this fight because YouTube was getting information on kids, not us, YouTube. But now we are the ones paying the price for it. And I don't know what to do at this point. I don't.
Well, Glenn, it's kind of like the power situation out in California. So rather than PG&E redo their infrastructure, they just shut the power off whenever the winds get bad so there's no fire. It's the same concept here. The company doesn't want to take responsibility for what they did incorrectly. And so now they're putting content creators at risk. But I still say, regardless of what happens, you need to have your own website. Glenn, I'm telling you, you need to have glensretroshow.com. Ralph needs to have retroralph.com. Cool Toy needs cooltoy.com. I'm telling you guys, you need to do it. You need to have control over your content. That way nobody can come in and shut you down.
I'm going to go right now to GeoCities, and I'm going to set up a GeoCities site right now.
I'm saying
Sorry, I already set that up on your behalf. I'll sell it to you for, right?
Harold, that's what he was doing.
I was typing that up. You know, that's the other part. Jonathan, who works with us, just Skype me. He goes, JonathanSiemens.com. He's like,
but that's the truth, though.
I go in GeoCities, or I can go on to, what was that before Facebook? What was that used to be around? I don't remember what it was called anymore. It's like
GoDaddy.
MySpace, right? I'll go on GoDaddy. I'll go one of those. Yeah, the ones that aren't there. Those are the retro sites. That's where I should go. They're still around, right?
No. We got you out of the retro phase. Look at how great his camera looked. You got to get like a GoDaddy website. Get like a Squarespace website, or use WordPress. I use WordPress.
I'd rather get a Go Mommy. They have a Go Mommy site.
They might.
Go GoDaddy
They might.
Site. I want to Go Mommy
I'm telling you that I believe that either one of you, without being programmers, could very easily build your website on, WordPress, Squarespace.
I do. I build my own site. I do. I build my own site.
Right?
Yep. I told Glenn it's easy.
I did it in 2000. I'll share. Oh boy, I'd love to show you how my site used to look.
Listen, I will help.
Retro.
It was very retro.
I told you, Glenn. I told you I'd give you a hand. If Ralph needs help, I'll help him. Cool Toy, you guys need help. I've done it. I have friends that do it, and it wouldn't cost anything. All you have to do is buy your hosting and stuff. But the main thing is, there's companies out there, like, if you don't know Vimeo. Anybody ever heard of Vimeo?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Vimeo has a great place. You can upload your content there, and you're not going to deal with this nonsense. Daily Motion is another one that I use. It's owned by a French company, but there's an office in New York. I don't know if it's the city, Glenn, but it's in New York. But no, there's great places.
56K away.
Yeah, I mean, I upload content there all the time, and yeah, you may not get if you have a core group of following, you got a community like you guys do, just bring them with you. And that's why my views are scattered all over the place, because I am all over the place. And I would encourage everybody, get a podcast, upload your videos to iTunes and Google Play, so people can subscribe to it and watch it at their leisure. That's another way for you to distribute content. That's how I do it, and it works great. So you don't have to be held by the 300-pound gorilla.
I still have my BBS available. I think I have a 33.36K Flex modem on there
with a floppy.
Super modem. Well, of course, a floppy. Of course, come on. I got a nice 5.25.
Oh my goodness.
But listen,
so
all right,
I have a Glen's Retro Show T-shirt that Glen was kind enough and generous enough to send my way about a year ago, and my kids are always like, "Dad, how old are you?" I'm like, "Leave me alone, guys."
Well,
I think at the end of it's actually this shirt I sent you right here. Actually, matter of fact, I think one of
that's these. That's the exact one. I love it.
Very retro.
Wait.
I may have to change. I got to change this. Maybe, I don't know.
Glen, if people want that shirt,
www.glen.com.
Glen, how do they get?
I used to have a link. I could do it again. I used to have a link on my videos, but since my intro back then was like 10 minutes long, my extra was like 20 minutes long. I ended up taking it off. But I will throw a link back up in there if they do want to get it. It's actually very comfortable shirt. My dog Blue loves sleeping on it all the time. He finds it very warm. But I don't want to switch gears too much. I know a lot of people are probably waiting for some information that I have, and that Harold has hinted to before. Yes. So it's come to that time where we want to announce the winners of the first 1,000 subscribers on the official AtGames Legends Ultimate fan page. And I know we have a photograph I'm going to bring up as well, because again, these were completely picked at random. And the reason I can say that is I'm going to butcher just about every name that's on here, anyone that I know. So I'm going to
wait a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is
go
that
ahead.
no? Is that the list that you just gave me?
Yeah.
My name is not on that list.
I told you, you're ineligible. You're ineligible, my friend.
Oh,
that's not right.
And
I've been waiting the whole show for this, and
I know.
Oh my! Well, we do have some
I
winners.
suckered you in.
You did.
We got some good winners, and and we want to congratulate all these people. The first person I have on here is David Urate. I have no idea if that's the right name of spelling his name, but he joined 6 months ago, and he's from Pennsylvania. We have Jason Lopez. At least I can say that one. He joined about a month ago. I like how accurate Facebook is when people join. We have Richard Termini, who joined about 5 months ago. We also have Craig. Oh my God, this one's gonna be a tough one. Craig. It starts with an L, ends in an H. I'm gonna go down that path.
Leacha?
He joined about 5 months ago.
Leacha? Sure.
Yep. Everybody's still because he's a network engineer. He's got to have a good engineering name, I suppose. And last but not least, I can't pronounce this one, Sam Woodson. He joined about 5 months ago. So I want to personally, for PK and everyone over at Games, congratulate you on the first prizes given away on the official fan page. Congratulations to all of you guys. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with those.
So, Glenn, you guys have been awesome and have been amazing moderators. So, for each one of those winners, we're also going to be giving them. We have some swag, T-shirts, hats, stuff like that. So once they DM you, when you send us the address, we're gonna plus up the prize pool for them. And you know what? To help get them to invite their friends and family, we're going to offer not only 5 more of these awesome Star Flashback Blast units, but we're going to put into the equation a Legends cabinet when you hit 10,000 subscribers on your page, because honestly, the community has been so awesome to us, and has been I don't want to say forgiving, but it's been understanding and at least given us a chance to prove that we're listening and that we can do. And
that's very important, because I can say, Harold, I've been with you since the beginning, this whole ride, and I've been with AtGames since their first flashback, so I've had it for a long time. And usually in communities, you would mention AtGames, the eyes would roll, and it's just amazing to see how that changed. There were definitely people who said, no, it's no, I'm not going to get it. Then they seen it and they saw Retro Ralph or Cool Toy. They didn't probably watch my video, but Retro Ralph and Cool Toy saw those videos, and they went and tried it. They went to one of the places and tried it, and they actually came home with one. So that again is a huge win for AtGames, for people I knew personally who were like, no way, and now they actually have one in their home. So that's a huge testament to, again, if you put out a price point for something and you have the quality to back it up, people will pay for it. Yep. You could throw something out there very cheap, but if it gets too cheap, that's when you start running into problems for a lot of people. Some people don't care. I'm not going to sugarcoat this either. There are very casual gamers. I know people just like that who will go out, a Atari flashback or a Coleco flashback. They buy it, they play it, and they're fine with it because they were never. They were gamers. Yeah, they were gamers.
That's me. I would be like,
right. They remember playing those games, and for $50, that was fine for them. It's us. It's the hardcore people. They really. The big problem is there's a disconnect between reality and what you get. Everyone wants the arcade machine. Period. The arcade machine quality, the controls from an arcade machine, but spend $50 for it, and that's not realistic. But that's what they have in their head. But with the legends here, it's a very good balance. When they actually try and play it, the controls are good, the console's good, the display is good, and the ability to hack. And that's what I also have to thank and applaud AtGames for is they've really embraced. I don't want to say the hacking community. I'm going to say the modding community. They really like the modding community, and they're working with them. They have APIs to get into the software side. They've gave information out to like Arcade Graphics to make new artwork for it. And the company's divulging that. They're not saying no. What are you doing? They're helping. They're embracing it, and that is a beautiful thing because that's how you're going to build not only a good following, but as people who follow those people realize, wait, he's supporting this machine. Let me take a look at it. They try it. So that's how you build it up. You got to build that community to get the word of mouth. Because no matter how good at marketing you are, and I'm not saying anything bad about marketing, but how good marketing
You're
is,
in the middle.
marketing,
Remember that.
I know that. I'm in the middle. But marketing gets you so far. Marketing marketing gets the word
No,
out, the initial word out. But over time, it's the word of mouth that's going to make or break it. You need
it's
marketing
the
there to get
king.
it out there. It is.
It's the
It
king.
is.
It's the king. And I got to say that at the end of the day, it's the Bills, the Calvins, it's the Phils of the world that are um, employed by AtGames that are true gamers. That was sort of the first effort by PK to bring these guys on to take away the, let's call it, the history of what didn't work for AtGames to help build where we were going. And I mean, they hold not only the marketing teams but the product development teams to a very high level, and it's because they're not fanboys, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're real gamers, and you know when there's a moment where we say, hey, from a marketing perspective, let's do this, they're like, no. And we're like, why? And they're like, because da 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 da. We're like, okay, who do we want to be? We want to be the product that is. We'd rather sell half the volume and nail it versus sell double the volume and be done in 12 months. That's
You
not
know what?
what. Not. Sorry, go
I
ahead,
want to
Glenn.
say something with here. The other analogy just started thinking about is Hyundai. When Hyundai first came to America in the 80s, it was, they were inexpensive cars. People bought them. There were quality issues with them. And, you know, it reminded me a little bit. It's almost like a mirror. But now look at them today. I mean, I've owned a Sonata. Actually, I own one right now. A Santa Fe, Elantra XG3000. I love them. They're great cars. So they started off not on the right foot in the states, but over time, warranty, like your service, great warranty, uh, good sales, good post sales, and a quality vehicle. I mean, the vehicle is a quality vehicle. My Sonata, my 2018 Sonata, it's a great car. AtGames had it start like Hyundai, maybe in the 80s, with the flashbacks and that price point being very inexpensive. You got what you pay for type of thing. But they have an opportunity now to become the Hyundai and Kia of today, which is very different. I mean, now they have even the Genesis line. The Genesis line, they're $50,000, $60,000 cars. Who thought in the 80s someone would pay 50,000, 60,000 for a Hyundai, a Genesis? Today,
Exactly.
people love those cars and they sell very well. So that's, I think, the nexus point that AtGames is at right now. You are now at the point where you got people's attention and you need to keep that quality. You need to keep the product moving forward and just do what you're doing right now. And I think you guys have the chance to really bring that brand up quite a bit.
It's been so awesome. Like the ride has been awesome. I remember in May when it came out that we were leaving our previous client to work with AtGames, and the commentary was, there's so many people in the community that said, well, listen, forget the past. The fact that, our company was working with them was an indicator of what was hopefully to come. And I think that at the end of the day, product speaks. And, there's no hiding behind, delivery on what the product means. And the exciting part is, I believe we are just on the first rung of, where we're going, and it comes from the top down. And there's this amazing commitment. I have to admit, before May, I really didn't know AtGames. And I met with PK and the team in Las Vegas during a licensing show, and I was like, is this the same company that I'm reading all these comments about on YouTube and on Facebook? And I don't want to say, but we all know they were always referred to as, I'm going to say shh, and I'm not going to say the rest of the name because I don't want to.
Yeah, don't get
but
YouTube after me now. You'll get
reality-
my channel removed. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. But the dialogue has changed, and we're going to keep striving for that excellence, so that we don't want to have anything handed to us. We want it earned, and that's the really cool part about what's happening now. So we are truly thankful to the both of you in the community for giving us the opportunity to prove that we could be what we not only aspire, but what we said we were aiming towards. And we're scratching the surface. But I can tell you firsthand, objectively, right? Because again, I have a company that I don't want the reputation hurt, is that every day it is striving to hit that level of excellence. So really appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity, not just the two of you, but the entire community, to prove it. And we're excited about, CES, and what we're going to be showing there, and where we're going next with the brand. So it's awesome. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Harold, and taking the time
Very much.
to talk with us. And Glen, I know you've got some different guests that we want to make sure that everybody understands. We're gonna bring a bunch of different companies on. Glen, you also had some different companies that we're probably going to be getting on here in the future. And if you guys, the audience, have any suggestions, let Glen or I know. Glen, what are some of the guests that we have coming up in the next couple weeks?
Well, we shouldn't give it away just yet.
Okay.
We have a couple lined up. We have
Okay.
some lined up. We want it to be kind of a surprise. Make sure people tune in for it.
Okay.
But you definitely want to listen and see who's coming on the next 2 episodes. I guarantee you're going to want to see it. But I also just want to, again, thank Harold for coming on. He's had a very, very long day.
Very long day.
I was talking to him at 5 in the morning. He was already up. Well, I don't know. Did you even go to sleep last night? Did you get any sleep last night? I don't even know.
So I did, but we had so we opened a company in New Jersey this year, and it was we acquired a company, so it was we did a Thanksgiving dinner for the team there. 6 a.m. flight, which meant a 3 o'clock wake up call. But I wouldn't have missed this opportunity to be with you guys. It was awesome, and I hope maybe one day I'll get invited back to be amongst you guys.
Now you'll definitely get invited back, but now you got the tech to do it, right? So now we got that figured out. So we don't need another hour to do that. So what Harold's not telling you is the hour before that we spent trying to get him his technology to cooperate with him. But no,
I warned you. I said
it's all right.
But he's a tech buzz. You're the tech buzz.
But listen,
that's what you do.
That's right. But at least you were smart about it, and you said, "Hey, can we test now instead of waiting until 5 minutes before, like I've had other guests do?" And then the show doesn't start on time.
Not me.
No, Glen's not like that. But we do want to let you guys.
An honor.
We appreciate it. We do want to let you guys know, though, next week, due to the USA having Thanksgiving and then Black Friday, we have family time the day after Thanksgiving. There will be no show next week. So we'll be returning the following week. And I know some of the people that Glen has already, he actually let me in on some of this. So, unlike the other one where he strung me along and made me think I was going to win one of these products. But, so you definitely want to stay tuned, watch our feeds, subscribe to the channel here and to Glen's channel. We'll definitely keep you guys updated. But again, Harold, thank you so much. Yep, go ahead.
Harold, thanks for coming on. Absolutely. But remember, he said it. You heard him. If we get 10,000 subscribers at the official AtGames fan page, we will be giving away an Ultimate Legends machine back here. Not mine, but one like it. So
that was the clause.
Definitely go on Facebook. That's it. That was the clause. So go on Facebook and do join it. We have a lot of great things going there. We have a lot of YouTubers on there like Retro Ralph, Cool Toy, P-Dubs. Who else we got in there? Gary's, Greg's Game Room. Also, I'm forgetting. Help me out. Who am I forgetting, Tech Buzz? Am I forgetting anyone? Who else is on the
Doug's
there?
Doug's over there. Cool Toys over there.
Right, they're both over there. I'm forgetting someone to tip my tongue. Console Kits.
Console Kits over there.
Yes.
Right. So so come on. They're a great bunch of people over here. And all the forums there. Everyone is very. I want to say play for the most part. If they're not, we try and curb them. But as you can see, we have a lot of people making mods for it out here. We talk about it, talk about updates, talk about adding games, making suggestions to add games. So if there's something you want to see, if you post it here, there are people, as Harold said, are here watching it. So it may be something that we can add. And you may be one of the 10,000 people that could win an Ultimate Legends captain.
Guys rock. Thank you.
Well, guys, we
Harold,
really
again, thank you so much.
We really appreciate it. And listen, we didn't go a full 2 hours this time. We're cutting it. Glenn, we made it. We made it just 10 minutes shy. We shaved 10 minutes.
No, then we're gonna keep talking. We have to keep talking. I wanted a record.
We've honestly been doing 2 hours.
You wanted to mention that we didn't do? I mean, please, if you have something you wanted to say, we didn't hit it yet. We didn't actually talk much about the Super Impulse. Did you want to mention anything more about them? Anything good with them?
I think that at the end of the day, for gamers, I think that the Super Impulse stuff is just, it's fun, collect and display. And I think that, pole position, right? Frogger, Pac-Man, Rubik's. Look at you. There you go.
He was prepared, Harold. I think that he was setting you up on that.
But I'm crazy. And I have like 3 or 4 of these. I don't buy just one. If I could go over there and show you the box, but before Toys R Us went out of business, I got their display. Okay. They go, "You want to throw that display away?" "Oh, no, I'll take the display." I took the display. I took everything when they were gone. I took all their stuff.
So the newest units are the Boardwalk arcades, and you know what, Glenn? We're gonna give 5 away. Give 5 away to your an amazing advocate press, and you have the page.
I will pick 5 people winners. I'll pick 5 from the Super Impulse Tiny Arcade fan page, and I will do that contest. And we'll announce it. Yeah. We'll announce that on our next broadcast. How about that?
Perfect.
So in 2 weeks,
send me the addresses and we'll send their products out. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Guys, thank you for having me. It was great.
Oh, really appreciate it. So Glenn, we got our work cut out for us.
Can we kill 10 more minutes?
Can we?
We still got 8. We got 8 minutes for the 2 hours.
You know what's funny though? Okay. You know what's funny though? We said we were gonna wrap this up, right? And so the viewer count count was going down. Then all of a sudden we were like, "Oh, do you want to mention this?" And now the viewer count started going back up. So everybody's like, "Wait, there's more."
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of these live streams. It's an open forum, and it just flows. And I was unexpected. Now for the Super Impulse Tiny Arcade fan page, we'll pick 5 people. And again,
am I eligible for that one?
Myself. Unfortunately, you're not.
Oh,
I know you, so therefore you cannot be eligible.
What is this?
Can't be. Yeah, sorry about that.
Discrimination.
I got to be good about it.
I'm filing
is.
a lawsuit.
Not right.
I'm just
Not
I'm
right.
I'm,
Oh,
kidding. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
He's gonna ding me.
No, no.
He's gonna ding me. So we'll pick 5 people, but that's very generous of the companies. But I will say these Super Impulse units here, I know they're like display pieces, but they were actually quite fun to play, even with a small screen. I'm an old man, and I can still have a lot of fun with them. And anyone, if you haven't seen these, you can pick them up at like Walmart, Bed Bath and Beyond, places like that. Of course, eBay and Amazon, of course. But these things are just fun, and that's the key. But they're not expensive. They look great, and they're fun to play. And I've been noticing. I mean, this is the Pac-Man, like the first generation. The frame rates were a little bit on the lower side, but still fun. But on the new ones, like the Pole Position, the Rally X, those new ones, and of course the Broadwalk arcades, they've done so much better. And I'll tell you, if you haven't seen my video on the Broadwalk, they have a whack-a-mole game. They have
Whack-a-mole.
the skeet,
Uh,
the ball toss
Skeet
one,
ball,
but it's the
whack-a-mole, and
but it's the pinball.
TMNT pinball.
That's it.
That's
Right. That's
pretty
the one.
cool, right?
That's just it's amazing. It's a small pinball machine, but they have the flippers on the sides, but they also have the buttons you can get on the back so you can hold it. It's got 2 LCD screens on it, the play field and the back panel. I mean, it's just neat and it's fun. And I said I did a video on that. Also, my friend Willie over at Arcade USA had done one as well, and they're enjoyable. And it's really amazing that Super Impulse is able to make such small little things, and they have more things than this. They have tiny Rubik's cubes. They have all these tiny things, but they're functional, and they're fun, which is again what it's about.
Amen.
We still got 5 minutes. You
Harold's
five more minutes?
Harold is determined
go
to hit
eat.
that 2-hour mark. He does not want this.
No.
You relent?
Quality.
Quality.
I think we can call it.
All right. I think he's right.
Thank you so much, buddy.
So guys,
Thank you guys.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll have this uploaded later on. If you missed the beginning part of it, if you caught part of the way, and you want to go back and hear what Harold has to say. But we'd invite any other companies out there in the arcade industry that is doing these types of things. Glenn and I would love to talk to you on the show, right, Glenn? I mean, whether you're making graphics, whether you're doing extra parts
Correct.
for these units, get in touch with Glenn or myself. We'd love to get you on here.
Right. Even if you're working on, again, my other show I do a podcast, the Atari 5200 podcast with my other buddies. There's a lot of stuff now being made for the Atari 5200, new joysticks and stuff. If you're someone who manufactures add-ons for old consoles, still get in touch with me. We'd love to have you on the show.
Yep.
If you have a new game cartridge, a new utility, a new product, please just have it on. We'd love to have you and show what you're working on. I think that's primarily what we're here to do, is to get exposure to you, to the community.
That's exactly right.
So can I just say one more thing? I know that everybody is tuned into this show, and I know some of our competitors are, and I just want to say is that, listen, this is a community about all of us having fun, loving what we do, and whether you're a fan of Arcade 1-Up, hey Scott, how you doing? Love you, buddy. Or whether you're into Super Impulse or the Legends cabinet, it's really just about the fact that we get to relive amazing memories and have fun. And I encourage us all. We live in crazy times, and it's the memories of these amazing titles, whether it's Pac-Man, Burger Time, Tron, Star Wars, that unite us. So let's keep playing and having fun and game on, and let's all get along, because there's definitely room in the marketplace for everybody. Listen, everybody knows I wouldn't be here talking about AtGames if it wasn't for the amazing start that I had with Arcade 1-Up. And I mean, if I took my camera right now downstairs in my basement, I have every Series 1 cabinet, and me and my kids play it all at least once a week. It's about creating memories. So to this amazing community, thank you.
You know what? That's you can't end anything on a better note than what he just said there. I'm not going to say anything more. That was very well, and I'm going to zip my lip.
All right, guys. We'll see you next
Thanks,
time.
guys.
Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. And subscribe, follow us, join those groups. 10,000, guys. Get there. We'll see you next time.
Yes, man.